So far our delta y was a variable that usually alternated between a positive and a negative value. So this left the player or the ball or the thing that this variable is controlling to just move up or down with the same speed. This time I want to make something completely different. Delta y will start from a stupid value as a 0, so initially the player is not going to be able to move. But on each update I'm going to comment all of this code. You can write multi-line commands with tilted line and star, and you should close such a command with a star tilted line. So I'm going to stop the command multi-line command here, and I'm going to write a code for moving the player. Each update, it's my y is going to change to my y plus delta y. And of course delta y is a variable that we have to change on each key up. So here on each key up, delta y will become delta y minus something, for example minus 1. Let's see what is going on now. Well, I can see that the player is not moving initially. That's what I told him to do. Initially his y speed should be 0. I could have made it to be initially something bigger, like 0.1, and it's going to be moving initially. You saw that it was moving up. That's because I refreshed the page with F5, which is considered a key up. So if I do it by F5, or if I do it by this button, but really speedily I release any other key, my player is changing his direction to up, but he's never finishing this jump, he's never starting to go down. What I needed to add is the effect of gravity. Each time we enter the update, a line of code that you need is delta y to be equal to delta y plus something really small. I can write here 1, and you can see that this number is too big because now the gravity will affect us too fast, and you can see that the player really fastly received too much speed. Instead, I can add to delta y something much smaller, such as 0.01, and you can see that initially the player will be moving really slowly, and I can even press few keys to change this falling to jumping forward. But you know that my jumps are limited to 3, so I can make those jumps much stronger. And let's see what is going to happen now. I can change my direction from going down, from descending to ascending, by pressing a key up. If I have jumps left, I am capable of performing a jump and decreasing my falling speed by 3. If my falling speed wasn't big at all, I can't even make speed to go up. So let's experiment with this even more. You can see that for some reason I am almost not able to jump from the bottom of the playing field. Apparently there is something wrong with the bottom of the playing field now. You can see that I need to press the keys a lot of time in order for me to change the direction. So my first task for your homework, we are not ready with the lesson, but this is the task that I want you to start with when you are making your homework. So it's a task about on the version of jumps in which key up is changing the direction and speed, actually mainly the speed of the falling. Sometimes this reverses the direction. So in our game 5, I want you to fix the speed of the player after being on the bottom of the playing field. Apparently I just gave you a big hint just now. I can show you a little bit more now that I've started. So here in the console I'm going to write something really interesting, delta y. Let's see what is the value of delta y. Oh, my speed of falling now should be 11 pixels. Apparently I'm standing still, but this is only because of this if. My speed of falling is actually increasing, so if I want to go up, I need to make a lot of different jumps to return this speed from not being huge in down direction. Apparently we need to make the speed of falling to 0 when we are on the ground, and now that I said all of this, this is a really easy task for your homework. I'm going to give you much harder tasks soon. But first, forget totally about all these limits to the jump. I want you to finally understand what we've done, because in our 6th and final jump mode for today, there is going to be a lot similar things to this version. So initially we have some speed that is really similar, really close to 0. It can also be exactly 0. It can also be something negative. If it's a negative number, the player will initially go up. But you can see that this speed to go up really fast is lost, and we have to now start falling. So we have an initial speed of the player, and this speed is always on each update changing just a little bit, affected by the gravity. So the player is speeding in down direction, but on each key up, if we have jumps left, we are changing the delta a little bit, not so little bit, a big bit and our speed could become even smaller than 0. This would mean that our player's y, my y, will not increase, it will decrease, so the downness will decrease, so the player will be going up if he has performed enough jumps for this. In the sixth mode, again, we use something like a realistic jetpack, but in order for it to work, we should hold the key, because we don't use explosives to go up. We use a steady, smooth rocket. In this mode it will be strange to limit the jumps to 3, because we don't have 3 jumps. We can use this jetpack as long as it has fuel. For your homework, you can add a limit to this jetpack use, but it should not be 3. It should be, for example, 500 updates in which I am holding the spacebar. If I'm going to use spacebar that is pressed, then I don't need any code in isKeyUp. Instead, I will write a code in update that will check isKey pressed of 32, the code of spacebar. Try to do it. It's an easy last task for today.